Hey YouTube, it's Big Daddy Gibbs from BDG Comics, and today I want to talk to you about my pick of the week from last week's new comic book day. Now I don't have a digital copy of this book, so we're just gonna kind of talk about it, and I'll review it, and we'll kind of go through it. There will be some spoilers for sure, but there just won't be any strong like images of panels or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get on with the review.
Ultra Combo!
Now, my pick of the week from last week's new comic book day was Cowboy Bebop #2 from Titan Comics. Written by Dan Waters with artist from Lamar Mathurin. So yeah, like I said, this was my pick of the week. And considering it was the same week as Batman Killing Time and Dark Knights of Steel #5 and Strange #1, like there was a lot of good books last week. So for this to be my pick of the week and nobody's really talking about this book, it should tell you that maybe there's something here that you should check out. It's really good. If you like sci-fi adventures, it's amazing. You should check it out. If you like Western themes and like sci-fi Western especially, you should absolutely check it out. If you haven't picked it up because you're nervous about its connection with the Netflix series, you should check it out. I haven't seen the Netflix series and don't plan on watching it. I've heard it's doo-doo, but this reminds me so much of the anime that it's unreal. It's really good. All right, so say in general, the art in this book is very unique. It has like very thin inking, like the outlines of everything is very thin, and the colors in it are super vibrant and solid. Let me just give you an example here. The paper is definitely very high quality, magazine style paper, not newspaper style. It's very nice. I really like the amount of black that is used, especially in the backgrounds of panels. It's very full and rich. It's like this. Beautiful artwork here. Love it. And if I had to give like the artwork its own score, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10. The art and the drawings and penciling and inking themselves could probably use a little more work, a little more detail, but at the same time, the like unique style that they have, it's very like raw, but also it gives you like a classic vibe, and I'm really digging it. However, the story, I think, in this issue, for me, I was just hooked almost from the get-go, and it never let up, and then it twists and turns at the end, and I am all in for it. I give it like a 9 out of 10 for just the story itself. Now I'm going to give you like a brief rundown of what happens in this book. So here's the spoilers. All right, so the crew, they land on this moon of Jupiter called Selene, I think is how you pronounce it. Cylene, Selene, I think. So it's a terraformed moon of Jupiter, and reports are that it's abandoned. Well, the crew soon finds out that the moon is not abandoned, that there is an entire civilization living on the planet. There's like a local populace, but the charts or the scientific measurements on the ship that the crew has, the Bebop, it comes back with some readings of the atmosphere and reports that the moon is super high, or the atmosphere of the moon is super high in nitrous oxide. So basically what's happened is this local populace is, their brains are kind of poisoned somewhat, and they're in this permanent euphoric state. Like they don't give a fuck about anything. It's pretty funny. The first person that they meet, like they crash land and they break his fence, and then he comes out and it's like this farmer, and you're like, oh great, here comes farmer with a shotgun, and he's gonna, you know, be all pissed off. And then he's like, I need some money for fence repairs now. And then Jet's like, we don't have any money. That's kind of why we're here. And then the farmer's like, oh, you don't have any money? Well, that's okay. When you leave, I'll just fix the fence on my own anyways. It's okay. And he just kind of walks away, and the whole crew's like, or I think it was just Jet actually. Jet was like, well, that's weird. So it was just a little funny. You're like, what is going on? And then that's when you find out about the nitrous oxide. So basically after that happens, the crew kind of splits off, and then Jet goes and talks more to the farmer, and kind of learns more about the culture and the moon, and you know, the lackadaisical populace, basically. Just learns more about the area, I guess. And then Faye kind of goes on this little gambling adventure, and she's trying to cause trouble, as Faye Valentine tends to do. But she basically realizes that she can't cause any trouble because nobody gives a shit, which is, again, hilarious. She's gambling, right? And then she cheats, and she wins, and she goes all in and wins the pot. And I guess it's a lot of money. I don't know. I don't remember if they said how much money it was, but the people that she's gambling against or with, they all find out that she cheated, and they're just like, oh, you got us. Woohoo. And then she keeps the money anyways. It's just kind of funny. She like basically can't piss anybody off, and she gets upset and leaves because there's no risk. And she's like, well, why would I stay here? There's no like blood pumping risk, you know, to cause any trouble, I guess. So Spike, the last crew member that split off, he is basically investigating and trying to continue the mission of finding this man with this magical lucky vest, or science. I guess it's not magical, it's engineered, I guess, but it apparently gives the wearer like infinite good luck. So he finds a man, and basically I think the man was the creator of the vest, and he finds out that there's a second vest, and it's like it's the same thing. And he like threatens to take it from the man. He like pulls his gun out on him. He's like, I'm gonna give me the vest now, basically. And the guy's like, he doesn't care that, you know, that Spike's pointing a gun at him because he's high on nitrous oxide, and he's just like, whatever. Here, how about some noodles? You want some noodles? So he offers to like make them both noodles, and then they get on this conversation about this brand of noodles called firecracker noodles that apparently they used to make, and they haven't made them in a long time. So basically this man who engineered this quantum vest of infinite luck is like, here, I'll give you this second vest if you trade me for 200 packets of these expired noodles. So Spike leaves, and he's like, whatever. So they basically all meet up, and as they're walking towards the ship to get out of there, they're having this conversation about how there's a second vest, and now they need to go find 200 packets of these noodles. And then so they're headed to wherever to get these noodles. They blast off in the ship, and then it pans down back onto the field where the farmer was, and so they pan back down with the camera back down to the field that the Bebop took off from, and there's another farmer just kind of chilling. It looks like he might be repairing the fence or getting started. He's just kind of hanging out. And then they pan closer to him, or zoom in to him, and it turns out it was another bounty hunter who is also after the man with the vest, very specifically the vest itself and not the man. But he was eavesdropping on the Bebop crew's conversation about the expired noodles, and that there's a second vest located on the moon. And yeah, the crew of the Bebop takes off, and then the man, well, that's the end of the issue, but you would assume the man stays there, and he's gonna go hunt down that vest. But it was a pretty fun conclusion, and overall it was a really good issue. I can't wait for issue number 3. Like, this story is so cool. I love how much it reminds me of the anime. So overall, I'd have to give the issue like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. And just for, you know, the sake of being conservative with my numbers and my reviews, I'll go with 8.5, just so that there's those extra points in the future for a book that just really blows me away. And that's pretty much it. That's my review for Cowboy Bebop issue number 2. Please like and subscribe, and until next time.
What the f is